Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of Green TV and in association with the PATT Foundation. Tonight we have Janet Illedge, who is a Reiki master. She's going to be going through a series of practices and teachings on showing you how to amass brain fog, wake yourself up, and certainly at the moment in time with COVID and people being stuck at home, along with our veteran community, I think it's very well needed. So I'll stop talking, I'll hand over to Janet, and if you have any questions at the end, if you want to put them in the group chat, and we'll have a chat about that. So over to you, Janet.
Okay, thank you, Gail. Thanks for inviting me to come and give a little bit of insight into some of the work that I do. Now, Reiki is only part of what I do, and it is wonderful as a way to actually help people relax, but it's a little bit difficult to do on screen. So I'm actually going to share with you tonight techniques from kinesiology, but from brain kinesiology. So I've decided that I would wake up lazy Brian, my lazy brain. I always like to have a spare because he is a lazy little beggar. So I've brought him along tonight because when we get stressed, this is where the challenges can start. And it's how can we actually help to send some signals by doing some movements, believe it or not, to actually wake everything up. Because if we're going to feel calm, we need to know that all the messages can go between both sides of our brain and both sides of our body, because that can often be the challenge. What happens is when we get very stressed and something seems a bit in scary land, the biggest problem that we have is actually getting both sides of our brain and body to talk to each other and to send the messages. So the first thing that this brain of ours actually needs, believe it or not, is this: water. Our brain and our body are really dependent on hydration, because every cell in the brain and the body actually needs something to fire a signal. So hydration, number one. You're not going to function well if you're not hydrated. So let's all start. If you've got any water nearby, actually get some down yourself now. You know, I'm doing this, so I will be using a lot of energy. So I know I'm going to need this, but it's a great tip to start the day and get everything going.
I've got some water in my cup.
Excellent, yeah. So
it is water, I promise.
Are you sure, Gail? I'm not sure that might be accurate. Okay.
Oh, I don't know what you mean.
Oh, well, as if. So, first thing I'm actually going to show you is just a very simple way to actually calm yourself down. Now, this is actually, the first one I'm going to share is actually from reflexology points, but done on the hands. So if you go into the center of the palm of your hand and use your thumb and just massage literally in that center palm there, that actually connects to what we call the solar plexus, the seat of relaxation. And that's where we feel the churning and the butterflies when something feels quite challenging to us. And this is a technique I've taken out for over 20, nearly 30 years now with adults, and I've shown it to children as well. You know, it doesn't matter what age we are, the brain and the body function is still the same. So do both sides. And the thing is, this is something you can do at home when you just sat on a night, but all of a sudden, especially now in this pandemic scenario, can often just start to feel a bit that old fear just coming up to the surface. So it's so easy to just massage into the center of the palm. And if it's a bit tender, that actually is often a bit of an indicator that you actually could do with a little bit of a help to actually just calm everything down. So that's number one, really easy. You know, I've always, when I've been doing any workshops, I've always wanted to keep it practical so people have got things that they can do. because when we do and move, we remember. Okay, so how can we get this brain and this body of ours, how can we get it to actually talk to each other? Well, number one, when we start to get stressed, what happens is all the energy starts to get scattered all over the shop. Now, we have points on just underneath our collarbones. So we've got the left and the right one, and we've got a little notch there. And then we would have our central breastbone there. So what we want to do is to just take 2 fingers, just slide, find the bones, let your fingers sit on top of the bones, top of the left collarbone, top of the right collarbone. Let your fingers just slide underneath, just about 2.5 centimetres or an inch. And you might just feel 2 little soft hollows. Just massage those points. If you want any names, numbers, those are what we call the K27s, the gathering points for all the energy. And when you're feeling as if you haven't got enough and you feel scattered, go for these points every time. They bring the energy back. This is like the gathering point for every energy pathway around your body. So massage these for about 20 to 30 seconds. And another top tip, when I'm showing you these things, don't stop breathing, because it's a classic. As soon as somebody starts showing you a movement, the instinct every time is to hold your breath. And I've seen it on so many workshops when I've done them. And they look at me, gone out as if to say, well, how do you know I'm holding my breath? Because I can see it. So remember that as well. That's another little top tip to be aware of for yourself. The body is always giving you feedback. And if you're holding your breath or you're breathing up here, you really need to do something to shift it. Okay? So those are your brain buttons. They actually say to the brain as well, wake up, information coming in. So simple to do, but they work. That's why these are brilliant. They're also great for anybody who struggles a little bit or is prone to dyslexia, where, you know, words on a page and letters jump around. Go for these, but they're a great stress reliever and they're fantastic, okay? So those are your brain buttons, yeah? Who knew you had brain buttons? You're not sat on them, they're actually up here, okay? So I like to keep it all simple. No, don't complicate stuff. That's always been my motto in life. Too many people like to make it all complicated. Okay, so I think what I'd like to share with you now is actually using some breathing to actually just open up the lungs for a start, because that's really important. So I'm going to show you now ribcage breathing, and it's better if I stand up. So I'll give you a demo first. So if you just watch, so what you're going to do is put the sides of your hands, feel for your lowest rib. Feel for that lowest rib, sideways. Now, bring your fingertips so that they are together now, okay? So I'd just watch this demo first, because if you haven't seen it before, it's not, but once you've had a go and seen what I'm doing, you'll understand. Now, the first thing is, when you're going to take that first breath in, you're going to think about pulling your navel towards your spine. Because when you do that, there is no option other than your breath has to travel up to the lungs and then up to the upper chest. And that's what we want to happen. Because a lot of people are stuck in upper chest breathing, or then they don't expand the lungs. And that's actually really important. So we've got our hands on our lowest rib. Place your fingertips together. Pull your navel in towards your spine as you inhale. So navel in, inhale. Watch, my fingertips are now together. Watch what happens as I breathe in. So can you see what's happened as I've expanded? Okay? Yeah. So I'm now going to slowly exhale and try and control it. Exhale through the lips. Can you see what's happened?
Yeah, I can feel it too. I can feel it.
You feel, yeah, you could feel that movement. So I'll just do one more demo. So if you want to join in with this, please, you know, that's the benefit really. So let's do it.
Well done, Paul.
Brill, Gail can see, I'm not watching. So inhale, pull navel to spine, inhale. And you get the expansion. Slowly exhale through the lips. See if you can control it so it takes longer. Until there's literally no breath left. So let's try it one more time. Pull navel to spine, inhale. Feel that expansion. Slowly exhale through your lips. Now, that is a really, really good one to do. Especially now we really want to work our lungs a bit more than perhaps we have been doing. So just let your hands relax, okay? Just shake your shoulders a little bit. That's it, just nice and loose. Because when when you're doing something unfamiliar, you can start to hold yourself a little bit tense and you don't realise you've done it. Okay, so well done if you've had a go at that. The next one I'd like to show you. Now, this one does require you to stand up, but if you struggle with standing and balance, it doesn't matter. You can do this in a chair. It still works. But if you can stand, it's even better. So I'm going to now show you cross crawl, because what this does, this is the one that actually really gets your brain and your body literally talking. Both sides of the brain talk to both sides of the body. That's when we get the stress actually starts to reduce. You know, if you're ever feeling as if you're thinking you've gone into a slump, or you're feeling maybe a bit angry or grumpy, and you feel like you just don't know what to do with yourself. Well, this one is a great one to do. So you need to stand a little bit hip width apart. You're going to take the weight onto one leg. You're going to lift the opposite knee and take the opposite hand across the middle of the body. And then put that leg back down and take the hand across. Lift the opposite leg. That's it. We're doing opposite to opposite. And do keep breathing, but we're doing it slowly with purpose, because if you do it too fast, basically nothing really happens. You're not actually getting both sides of the brain and the body connected to talk to each other. And this one is, if you like, this is fantastic for reducing stress. And some people prefer to do stress reduction using this because they need to move instead of actually staying static. And what this also does is get both eyes working as a team and ears. So that means you can see something and understand it. You can hear something and understand it. And it's like, literally, it's the best reset. It's like pressing a complete reset button on your computer. And it literally gets everything going again. So opposite hand to opposite knee. Now you're going to do, if you want to really use it actively, you would do this 24 times. That's 12 sets. Okay? So you can have a little rest and sit down, because when you're not, it can feel a little bit challenging. But, what I used to do when I was training is deliberately, by the way, because if I was training, taking my workshop out with teenagers or very lively youngsters and adults who I knew needed to actually get going, they needed a bit of a, va-va-voom, Robbie Williams track Rock DJ, because for a start, it's 3.5 minutes. And if you want to build up a bit of fitness without going to a gym, trust me, you do that track, every day, you will notice the difference. Not only that, you're actually giving your hips a bit of mobility and joints as well. But 3.5 minutes is quite demanding. I did it deliberately, I admit. I was a bit mean, because half the teenagers didn't have the stamina. They'd be like gasping for a breath. And I'd be like, excuse me, how old are you? How old am I? Come on, crack on with it. So it kind of like settled them down a bit. But it sets the rhythm, because what happens is sometimes some people go off at 100 miles an hour. You're not going to get anything from it, because we're looking to have literally, I don't know, I used to have a pair of like big Spock ears, but I can't find them. But vision, think of it for the vision. If you're going to be able to read and understand, you need the vision from this eye to cross over to the opposite side of the brain. And this eye needs to feed to that side of the brain, because it's where they cross. Literally, imagine an X. That's where you then are able to see and understand and hear and understand. Because one thing I can tell you about stress is that, and I'm sure some of it, I'll ask you this question: how many of you notice that when you're starting to get stressed, you may start to find you become sensitive to light levels, or you cannot keep your eyes, you might read the same paragraph 2 or 3 times with no more idea of what it said than when you first started reading it. That's telling you your sort of probable biggest stress. You know you're getting stressed when your visions, you start to struggle. If your stress comes through auditory processing, listening, then you become more sensitive to loud noises. And then you're in this space where somebody starts talking and you can't follow, you can't process and get the meaning from what they're saying to you, you know, from what they've just told you. So those are 2 good little simple ways to get that information back to your brain and body. Hang on a minute, don't ignore that. That's just told me something. My stress levels are starting to rise a bit. Look at doing something about it. And I always say, if you don't know what to do with yourself, get up and cross-crawl for England. It never fails. And get your children involved as well if you've got children. They'll just watch you. Don't bother telling them what you're doing. Just let them copy you if they want to join in. And, you know, it's great. It gets everything switched on. It gets the circuits going. When the circuits are connected, you'd be amazed at how much your stress levels actually drop. So that's a great big bonus. Next thing I'm going to show you is, I'm going to show you hookups, right? So literally we're going to connect everything in a circuit, your brain and your body together. So this is, I'll try and make it I'll make it easy. So take your hands out in front of you, okay? Now, take one hand over the other and let it sit on the wrist. So you can see now you've got your backs of your hands together. So what I'd like you to do now is just turn your hands so they come round towards each other and you can hook your fingers up. Brilliant. Bend your elbows and then let them sit down on your lap. Have a nice big bend there, because if you don't, you're going to sit like that and you've lost it. So a nice big bend in the elbows. Feet flat on the floor, okay? If you've taken the right ankle, right wrist over the left, take the left ankle over the right if you can. Mm-hmm. Okay, just try if you can put your feet flat onto the floor. It doesn't matter if they go flat or not. But now you are in a complete circuit, okay? So now we're going to have a go with put the breathing in with it. So just make sure you've got that nice big bend in your elbows so the shoulders drop, because a big sign of tension is when we start coming up like a turtle. So let them drop and soften. So the breathing for this, let's just take in one nice breath in, slowly in through the nose, pull navel to spine again. So let's breathe in through the nose, inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the lips very gently. 2, 3, 4. And just taking another breath, use your own count, but think of gently filling. Pull navel to spine, inhale. Slowly exhale through the lips until there's no breath left. So when you're breathing in, literally visualize that you're actually bringing energy into your system. And when you're breathing out, you're letting go of anything that's bothered you. You just think of releasing and letting go. You don't want it anymore. Let it go. So now I'm going to show you how you can really benefit from this hookup. And have a go now. When you breathe in, just let your tongue go up towards the roof of your mouth or just behind your top teeth. So as you inhale, just let your tongue go up to the roof of your mouth. And you might feel a little bit of pressure there. And then slowly, as you exhale, just let your tongue fall back down and rest in its normal place. So you're not pushing at it, you're just going to, as you breathe in, the tongue goes up. And as you breathe out, the tongue just falls back down again. So let's just do 2 or 3, maybe let's have a go at about 5. And I'd like you now, if you feel okay to do it, to actually close your eyes. You're in your own home, so nobody can get you. You know you're safe. So if you'd like to just close your eyes, because that's a fantastic way again to reduce stress. We don't need to be visually looking at everything. It's quite demanding on our vision and brain. So as you inhale, think about taking in some nice fresh energy, gently inhaling and filling, tongue up to the roof of the mouth. On the out breath, just slowly release the tongue so it falls back down. On the in breath, the tongue goes up. On the out breath, the tongue falls down. And a couple of more times in your own rhythm. So that gentle filling and that gentle emptying. There's no forcing, there's no pushing. Just feel that your shoulders soften, your elbows are soft. You're taking in new energy on the in-breath and on the out-breath. Just gently letting go. Okay, and if you'd like to now, just open your eyes slowly. You may have found, yeah, even just for that in that short space of time, you will, I hope, you might have started to notice some signals to actually help you relax. Yeah.
Help you sleep.
Oh yeah, it's very, very good. It connects into, when you do that with your tongue, it really does send deep relaxation signals. So I deliberately haven't left you there for a long time because obviously you need to just be a little bit alert. So if you'd like to now unhook, so uncross your ankles, take your hands apart, and it's always a good idea, put your fingertips together again. When you do that, it's actually connecting you back into your body, brings you back into awareness. Because, you know, if you're going to use this at home doing your hookups, I would honestly, you can stay there for as long as you want to, okay? But whatever you do, don't stay in hookups a long time and then jump in your car, because the chances are you're not switched on and alert enough. So make sure you always do that. And if you really feel that you've really gone very deep, because each of these, the more you do the movement, the stronger the pathway becomes. And your brain is so quick to go, As soon as you do one of these movements a few times, it starts to go into the memory and it goes, right, I know what you want. You're asking for the relaxation response and it'll give you it. So if you do it and you've gone off really deep, but you've got to go and do something to be alert, go for those brain buttons again to really bring you back into the present moment. Do both sides a bit to make sure that you're definitely back again. However, it's a fantastic one to actually help you if you need to get off to sleep at night, because you can, in effect, do hookups laid in your bed, and you can just allow yourself to drift off, because naturally your ankles will uncross themselves and so will your wrists, your hands. But it's a really good one if you struggle to get off to sleep at night. So that's another tip to share with you. Everybody okay?
Yes. Yeah? Yes, thank you, Janet.
Good. Okay, so I've shown you there actually 4 things. Now, if you do these 4 things, number 1 is drink the water. That's for energy. If you then do a cross crawl, no, hang on. We're doing it this way. Yeah. If you do this one, the brain, the buttons, that is to help you become clear-headed. Then the next one to do is the cross crawl to become active. Okay. And the hookups that we've just done, okay, that is to help you feel positive. And if you use the stress release points, which are in the center of your forehead, okay, we've got our forehead here, and you've got your brow bone here, where if you run your fingers over your forehead, you'll feel in the middle there's a little dip, okay? You find that little dip. What I'd like you to do now is line your first 2 fingers up with your eyes, the pupils of your eyes. Just visualize roughly where they are. And you're just going to place your fingers in a line with your eyes, and you don't push in. Whatever you do, you won't want to do it if it hurts. So just place your fingers on the surface of your skin, and these are called the stress release points, and these are actually very, very powerful. And if you'd like to do cross one ankle over the other as well, you can deepen it. And if you close your eyes, okay, and this is a stress release points are absolutely brilliant for literally doing just that. So something may have been really bothering you, and you may feel again as if you're struggling to know what to do. But if you can use this technique to basically help let go of all those worries and fears, just by holding these points, they help to rebalance everything back in your brain again. So instead of being stuck in maybe fight or flight, you basically come back into the front brain so you can actually function again. So just visualize now that you're actually going to release and let go. Just if there's any little thing that's bothered you today. So just be willing to release it. Think of letting it go all the way down the back of the head, the shoulders, down the spine, from the upper back to the mid, to the lower back, to the hips, to the thighs, the knees, the shins, the tops of the feet, and right down to the soles of the feet. So just visualize letting go of whatever it is that has been bothering you. This is these are the brilliant stress release points. They're a wonderful tool to use. So just think about letting go and just sending them down, right down to the soles of your feet. And when you get down there to your soles of your feet, I want you to imagine now that you've actually got a rubbish bin. So visualize now opening that rubbish bin and send anything that you want to be free of. Any worries, you can do this every day. Think of it as your recycling bin. And just visualize sending it down all the way, right down through the soles of your feet into your bin. And you can call for that bin anytime you want, but it's great to do it at the end of the day, especially before you're going to go to sleep. Okay, so if you'd like to now just lower your hands, because you know, we're not all used to holding our hands up here. It's amazing how many people say to me, oh, crikey, they're hurting a bit, because we're not used to it necessarily. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And it's really good to remember, get rid of your rubbish. You don't have to wait 2 weeks for that rubbish bin, for the recycling lorry to come. Every day, chuck it in the bin, okay? If something comes into your mind that's really bothering you and you think, oh, I don't know that the bin's quite going to be enough, sometimes you might want to write it on a piece of paper, but take it outside and burn it, okay? Don't set fire to it in the house. But sometimes, believe it or not, we can get a sense of really letting go of something by that physical action of writing and then going and burning it. So what we're doing really is we're not staying connected to the thing, to whatever it is that's been bothering us. Always let it go. The more you hold on to stuff, the fuller it all feels and the more the butterflies are going to come up. And you'll notice it starts to come in physical tension in the way you hold your body. Always check your shoulders during the day. Where are they? Are they creeping up here? Are you into turtle syndrome? Or notice if you're starting to bring, if one shoulder is starting to come forward from the body. These are all physical signals. So that's why I'm passionate about this work, because it's practical and you're in charge. You can use it whenever. Okay, let me see, to finish off, because I'm conscious of time. Would you like to do a 2-3 minute full guided relaxation? Or would that just be, yeah?
Yes, please.
Yeah? Is that what you...
Yes, please.
Okay, right then. So if you'd like to literally just do an easy hook up here, just cross one wrist over the other and let your hands sit on your lap. You've got your ankles crossed. So what I'd like you to do now is close your eyes, okay? Because we don't need to remain alert all the time. That's what stresses us out, to be quite honest. Too much on the vision. So close your eyes. You know how to now take a nice slow breath in, gently filling up to your upper chest, and slowly let that breath out through the lips. Don't force it, don't push it. Just simply be in that space of allowing. And just take in another nice breath. We're not pushing, we're not forcing. And now I'd like you to visualize that there's this beautiful, warm, golden liquid. And visualize this golden warmth touching the top of your skull, flowing down the back of your skull, down the neck, either side, the left and the right side of the neck, along to the left shoulder, along to the right shoulder. Feel it warming the right shoulder joint, the left shoulder joint. Continues flowing down the upper arm to the elbow, the forearm, the wrists, the hands, the fingers. And now you become aware of that flow from the top of your scalp as it flows down the upper spine, across your back, the mid-spine, the lower back, around the pelvic area. Feel that golden warmth being bathed in that beautiful liquid all around the pelvic area, around the left thigh, the right thigh, right down to the base of the spine, around the knees, the left knee joint, the right knee joint. Continue to flow down the shins of the left leg and the right leg, around the ankle, the left ankle, the right ankle, the tops of the feet, the heels, the soles of the feet, right down to the tips of the toes. You're now bathed in this beautiful golden warmth, soothing and relaxing, helping us to feel re-energized and revitalized, but totally at peace in a calm space that we've created because our mind listens to everything we tell it. So if we tell it we're feeling calm and relaxed, it will respond. So enjoy being bathed in that warm golden light. The muscles are soft and relaxed, feeling calm and feeling totally at peace. And now I'd like you to start to just bring a little bit of awareness back into your fingers and your toes. Just gently wriggle them. Uncross your feet. Okay, place your fingertips together again. And when you're ready, if you haven't done already, eyes open, wide awake. It's really nice to just drift off, but sometimes you really do need to actually bring yourself back. So, because obviously, ordinarily, I would get you to stay there longer, but I'm conscious, we're working to a bit of a time. So I hope that I have given you some practical techniques, some ways to actually put you back in control, help you to build your awareness. Yes, I am a Reiki master practitioner, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful and light healing energy. But I did feel really that for this pair for tonight, I really wanted to show people practical things that they can do. So thank you very much for having me. I hope that you've all found, maybe even if you've taken one thing away from tonight, that's a positive. So I'm happy to answer questions. If anybody has any, just let me know. Okay, thank you.
Janet, thank you so much. I am so chilled. I've been running around like a headless chicken all day, working on business, being mum to the kids and I've literally sat here for the small amount of time and feel very relaxed. So hopefully people watching this, and we will be putting this on the Green TV YouTube channel as well as my own channel, so for you to revisit and do these techniques, and I hope it's going to help our veteran community to just relax. I know sometimes it feels a little bit out of your comfort zone to just do these movements, but the power is amazing. Looking at the chats, and nobody's got any questions, so I presume we're just all so relaxed and drifted off. So I'm getting loads of thank you, Janet. Everybody who's on the call,
yeah, I can see
it's flooding now. It's coming through. Thanks, Janet. Thanks, Janet.
Yeah.
I'd like to say thanks to Paul Webb, our only fella that actually joined in there. So well done.
Well, I saw Paul joining in, so that is absolutely magic.
Yes, that was good. And hopefully he'll feel the benefits too.
Yeah. If you don't try it, how do you know?
Exactly.
I did a few.
Did you do so?
Yeah, outside the technical aspects of the role.
So if anybody there isn't any questions, or obviously Janet, this is great what you do. Where can we find you, Janet, if people want to have some Reiki from you, or find any more of these relaxation techniques? Where can we find you, Janet?
You can find me on my Bright Minds Therapies Facebook page, because I will be putting some small clips, some small segment clips up from what I've shared with you. But if anybody wanted a real relaxing Reiki, I can do that distantly. But if you want to use this work, which is educational kinesiology, just think of it as brain stuff. Brain movement for the brain and the body. I can obviously do that via an online session. Hypnotherapy, just have a look on Bright Minds Therapy. You'll find me. You can have a look and see. I've got the website, which is www.brightmindstherapies.co.uk. So you can always go and have a nosy on there and see what I offer. But I say I've just enjoyed tonight. So
it's been amazing. Was that Kim? Did you have a question for us?
Yeah,
Janet. Sorry.
Janet, is there anything that you can do from what I call brain gym? You call it something different, but that you can use to calm somebody down when they're having a panic attack? Because it seems to me that would be quite useful.
Yeah, it is actually. When somebody's having a panic attack, it can be helpful before somebody gets into the panic attack, when they're in a good phase, to actually show them hookups, so that, if you like, they've practiced it, because it then is much easier if you were to say, when somebody starts to get the signals that one is coming on, to head it off at the pass, as it were. Yeah. This is how I've taught it that's how I've taught it, so people can use it like that. Because then the brain, if it's practiced it, it knows what you're asking for. Another simple thing, quite honestly, can be, in all honesty, is placing the hands in contact with the body, because those touch receptors in the body also send calm signals to us. And, whenever I've taught, because I used to teach a lot of stress management programs, I wrote a lot of my own. So I would do 6-8 weeks. And all the techniques I've shared with you tonight, because a lot of people coming on those courses had anxiety and stress-related issues. So I taught them all of these, and I said the first thing we need is to get you back into your body. It's much easier to deal with things when you actually come back into your body.
Wow.
So does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what I would do. And take, get somebody to do cross crawl as well. But the main thing really is that people recognise when they're getting the signals from the brain, from the body, instead of letting it build. This is where the success comes, really. So that would be what I would suggest.
Thank you, Janet, and great question, Kim. Thanks for that. So I think that's it for tonight. I'm going to carry on. I'm going to have a nice hot bath, I think, and relax and finish off the day. So thanks ever so much for Janet. Really great show, brilliant presentation, and it was very, very valued from us all. Like I said before, I will post everything on the YouTube channel links on Green TV on the PATT, in association with PATT Foundation, along with my YouTube channel too. So spread the word about Green TV, everybody. We're back again on Tuesday, I believe, with Steve Judge. He's got an interesting presentation to do. He's had an awful car accident and he told he was never going to walk again, and then managed to beat a world champion runner. So that's quite an interesting one. We've got a little competition going as well, so I'm not going to spoil it. You're going to have to check out my social media for that. But that's coming on Tuesday. So if you can, it'd be lovely to see you there for the event. So have a great evening, and thank you very much for joining us, and thanks ever so much, Janet, for joining us as our guest.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye bye for now. Bye.